Hello everyone, my name is Serafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we're going to be playing Monarchs. Now, I told you in my Monarch teaser video that there are two typical ways you can play Monarchs, either with a 15 card extra deck or a 0 card extra deck. A lot of the Monarch cards very clearly want you to be playing with no extra deck, so a lot of players choose to abstain from it. And for those players, here is the main combo that you're going to be using. All you need is the Monarch's Revolt and a card to discard. So we'll activate the spell card, the Monarch's Revolt, discard a card from our hand. We reveal 3 copies of a card from our deck, either a Squire or a Monarch. So we're going to reveal Tessera the Primal Squire, Eidos the Underworld Monarch, and Erebus the Underworld Monarch. Then our opponent chooses one of those to add to our hand. Now, typically speaking, you want your opponent to add Erebus the Underworld Monarch. That is the way that your combo typically plays out. However, it's okay if they choose to add Eidos the Underworld Monarch instead. If they add Eidos and Erebus is in your graveyard, Erebus can return itself to your hand from your graveyard, but you have to discard a Monarch spell or trap in order to do so. Not a big deal. If they add Tessera to your hand, it becomes significantly more difficult. You'll have to kind of finagle with the cards that are in your hand, which is part of the reason why we play so many level 6s. But you basically want Tessera to go to the graveyard for you to use this effect. Alright, so we activate Tessera's effect when it's sent to the graveyard, allowing us to special summon a Squire from our deck. We summon a Dia. A Dia's effect allows us to summon another Squire from our deck, which will be Garum the Storm Vassal. Then we'll use these 2 monsters to tribute summon Erebus the Underworld Monarch. Activate Erebus' effect as a Chainlink 1, Garum's effect as a Chainlink 2, and Eidos' effect as a Chainlink 3. Eidos just returns itself from the graveyard to your hand, so again, if you have added Eidos to your hand with the Revolt, it doesn't really matter. Garum lets us add a Squire from our deck to our hand, which will be Tessera. And then Eidos lets us send 2 Monarch spells from our deck to the graveyard in order to shuffle a card from our opponent's hand into the deck. So we're going to choose Pantheism of the Monarchs and the Prime Monarch. Now that we've done that, we will activate the effect of Pantheism of the Monarch from our graveyard. We banish it, and we reveal 3 Monarch spells or traps from our deck for our opponent and choose one to add to our hand. We'll choose 3 copies of Tenacity of the Monarchs. Tenacity gets added. Now we can activate the effect of Tessera the Primal Squire. We reveal the Tenacity to special summon it. Then we activate Tenacity of the Monarchs, and we reveal the Eidos that was added to our hand to add a Monarch spell or trap from our deck to our hand, which will be Domain of the True Monarchs. This is our field spell. We now activate this. Then we activate the effect of Tessera the Primal Squire. During your main phase, you can immediately after Second Resolves tribute summon 1 monster. So we will tribute Tessera in order to summon Eidos the Underworld Monarch. Eidos the Underworld Monarch's effect, when it's tribute summon, we can add a Monarch or a Monarch spell or trap from our deck or graveyard to our hand, and we will choose the Monarch's Erupt. Set this, and we are good to go. So, what does our board look like? Domain of the True Monarchs. While you have no cards in your extra deck, and you are the only player that controls a tribute summon monster, which we have 2 of, your opponent cannot special summon from the extra deck at all. Their extra deck is just gone. If a tribute summon monster you control attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 800 attack points during damage calculation only. That does not apply if your opponent attacks you, but it is still very useful. And then once per turn, you can reduce the level of 1 monster with 2800 attack and 1000 defense in your hand by 2 until the end of this turn, even after they are summoned or sent, and even if this card leaves the field. So once per turn, Domain lets you tribute a Mega Monarch for 1 tribute, which is pretty nice. Then we have the Monarch's Erupt, which is a continuous trap card. Activate this only if you have no cards in your extra deck and you control a tribute summon monster. Negate the effects of all face-up monsters on the field while those face-up monsters are on the field, except tribute summon monsters. During your end phase, if you control no tribute summon monsters, send this card to the graveyard. So this is a skill drain that doesn't, just like skill drain, it does not work on monsters that tribute themselves for cost, so keep that in mind. But basically, it will stop any monster effect. It includes normal summon monsters, so it's not like lose 1 turn, which only works on special summon monsters. This is normal summon monsters that were not tributed. Basically, Monarch beats everything except Flu, the True Dracos, and itself. there you go. And then as far as the monsters, they're just big. They don't have any effects. As far as our graveyard, we can banish one of our spell cards to activate the effect of the Prime Monarch and summon itself as a defense position monster, and then you have 3 more cards in hand. So there you go. That is the combo. Here is the deck list. 2 copies of Edea, 3 copies of Tessera, 2 copies of Eidos the Primal Squire, 1 Garum the Storm Vassal, 3 copies of Vanity's Fiend, which says cannot be special summoned, neither player can special summon monsters. This monster does not have 1,000 defense points, so it can't be searched by any Monarch effects, but it's really useful to summon off of Tessera's effect. Majesty's Fiend, which does have level 6, 2400, 1000, cannot be special summoned, neither player can activate monster effects. Fantastic card for you to end on. Eidos the Underworld Monarch, which triggers if it is normal or special summoned to add a Monarch spell or trap or 1 monster with 2,800 attack and 1,000 defense from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And then if you tribute summon a monster with 2,400 or more attack and 1,000 defense while its cards in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand or special summon it. 2 copies of Aether the Heavenly Monarch, which allows you to tribute summon it from the hand during your opponent's turn. And then if this card is tribute summoned, you can mill 2 Monarch spells or traps to special summon a Monarch from your deck, but then return it to the hand during the end phase, which is Eidos is an amazing target for that, because that essentially means that you get to search twice with it. 2 copies of Erebus, 3 copies of Tenacity of the Monarchs, 3 copies of Pantheism of the Monarchs, 1 the Monarch's Master Plan, 3 copies of the Monarch's Revolt, 3 copies of Domain of the True Monarchs, 1 March of the Monarchs, which prevents your tribute summon monsters from being destroyed by card effects or targeted by card effects, 1 Return of the Monarchs, which just lets you search every time that you tribute summon, 3 copies of the Monarch Storm Forth, which says that you get to tribute your opponent's monsters as though you controlled them, 1 copy of the Monarch's Erupt, 1 the Prime Monarch, and 1 copy of Monarch Perfection, which lets you use any of the original Monarch's effects every time you tribute summon. Or sorry, not every time you tribute summon. Every time your opponent special summons while you control a tribute summon monster, which is hilarious. Alright. There you go. Thank you all for coming out. My name is Rafi. Let me know how you guys thought about the video.